From the gridiron to the diamond, this is more than X's and O's. This is your best Florida sports podcast with CBS 12 News sports director John Evenson, producer extraordinaire Sam Sullivan, and Max Shepman with the lighter side of sports.
Welcome to the Cognizant Classic edition of Best Florida Sports Podcast. As you can tell, for the first time...
It's a field trip.
Yeah, for the first time in podcast
history.
What did we just say? We're out in the wild.
This is Todd Fleming. This is Todd Fleming, the Vice President and Executive Director of the Cognizant Classic. And Sam Sullivan, you haven't gotten to meet him yet.
Not yet.
He is somewhere.
He's somewhere around
He's
on
on
the
the driving range. He got lost. He's taking in everything. This is his first tournament, so
I think
he's happy.
security pinged me. He may be like in one of the lakes over there. On
no.
Maybe. We'll see.
Are the Gators have been flushed, though?
No, Gators are still in there, so good luck, Sam.
So good news,
may or may not.
the pros also hitting the water sometimes too. So
I saw a few errant shots this morning. I won't say by who, but I saw a few errant shots by some guys that get paid to do this. So it happens.
Well, hopefully we see Sam later in the show, but it's great for you to fill in for him. Perfect guy, and I see you running around like a chicken with your head cut off. Tournament week is finally here. You've made so many changes, and you always have a smile on your face, so I can tell that I'm guessing things are going great so far.
Well, sometimes you got to mask it right through a smile, but no, I mean seriously, things are going well, better than what I could have expected through what we've been through over the last 12 months. Changes to the golf course, really just through the overseeding and kind of the beautification of the course. And then ultimately outside the ropes, we've changed everything, right? Building in similar places, but changed out all of that. So I'm pleasantly surprised, but it boils down to got good people really helping out.
Yeah, you talk about the changes and everything, for the first time, for the people that haven't been out here since the changes, what's one of the changes that you guys have implemented that you guys are most proud of?
I think there's a lot, but the first one that I think people will notice the most is two things really. One, we're closer to the ground. The structures being built that high in the past and having some of the servicing that went on underneath, just to me didn't feel like the right kind of experience that I wanted our fans to have and people that support our tournament. Lower to the ground means more connected. Right, to me, means I feel more connected. I can touch and feel
the intimacy.
Intimacy. I can hear. Right, Elevation gives you a great view, but it doesn't necessarily make you feel connected. So that'll be the first thing. The other thing is the colors. I've been very, very vocal about the rebrand that we went through and trying to make it seem more like Palm Beach County, make it seem like South Florida. I feel like we've accomplished that in 2025 with some beautiful colors that are out here.
This is the best week around here. So, of course, the tournament tees off Thursday, February 27th. We're not in a leap year, I don't think. So
no,
it ends Sunday, March 2nd. Yes, I'm right with the math there.
Yes.
And how huge... I want to talk a little bit more about the fan experience here in a little bit, but can you share with us how massive it was when you found out late, like the rest of us, I'm assuming, that Jordan Spieth had committed to this tournament? I mean, that changes
It changes everything, right? I mean, we had done such a good job kind of taking advantage of the natural kind of interest in our event anyways. Then you get something like that happens. And it came to me on a Friday night. Again, February 21st was in and around 5 o'clock was the time that all of the professionals had to drop their name in if they were going to be in the tournament. And so I always knew that we had a really strong field leading into that. But I was at an event. We were running an event here on course. So I was running back and forth trying to make sure that everybody had fun at the event. And his agent kept calling, text, FaceTime missed calls.
And you were just ignoring the call?
No.
Get him! Stop bugging me.
I had left
agents.
my phone.
Yeah.
I had left my phone back at the venue because we were out on the venue. It's a sales opportunity type scenario, so I was in a lot of those discussions. But so when I got back, I said, "Man," and I know the agent really well. So I called him and I said, "What's up?" And he said, "I got some news for you." And the scream that you could have heard from the people on site, on the staff, and then certainly from myself, to obviously have somebody that is that notable choose us and to be here for the first time. I mean, I was elated just like everybody else. I was a fan, right? And so I'm really, really excited to be able to see what he brings to the table here this week.
Yeah, we just talked about it a little bit, the intimacy. I mean, for players to see Ricky and Jordan and all the other guys out there, like, it's got to be a pretty cool feeling to know that, some of golf's brightest and even bigger stars are out here, and people can be at some point, maybe from me to Evanston away, just seeing how they play golf.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I think that's what a little bit of what TGL has done, obviously, and again, that being in our backyard and being a great partner and business partner with us. I think people are starting to realize, hey, I can actually go to that, but I can also go to a live event, and I may be able to get even closer, right? Our rope lines are really, really close. There's no kind of barriers in between, just a rope line and some security. But it's ultimately, again, when those shots maybe don't hit the fairway, we allow you to get really close. You can hear the kind of interaction with the caddies, and then ultimately, that fan experience helps people come back, but it makes us all kind of more intrinsically tied to who that person is that we just saw. We now become a fan of that individual, right? Yeah. So it humanizes everybody, and it just brings us, our community closer to the guys that value our event.
I know he's not here this week, but Justin Thomas, maybe a month or so ago, sent a memo out to his fellow PGA Tour stars. I don't want to guess what the wording was, but it was something to the effect of, hey guys, this season, make more of an effort to maybe do media, but more importantly, engage with the fans and do things like that, because the sport needs it. And you see what's happening with TGL. I know back in the maybe 10 years ago when I covered NASCAR, it was incredible to just be right in the pits, and it seemed to be the same kind of initiative. Is that something that across the board on the PGA Tour and for this tournament, that sort of the mindset now is to, as you already alluded to, fans getting closer and feeling like they know these guys? Yeah,
I think so. I mean, look, we're very fortunate, right? I mean, our players are individuals that are, broadcast live or kind of shown to the public each and every year. So their failures and their successes, we get to see it all. So I think our players are very, very personable. But I think what you're talking about is, again, the next iteration of what they're doing, the way that I see it from my side of the seat, they're letting their personalities show through. Yeah. And I think that's the next thing, again, that people want to see, particularly in the social media world. The players are pretty savvy at that now, particularly the younger guys in the game. But I think what you're starting to see is a little bit more of that personality. They're letting people see it. It's not, call it our father's golf or our grandfather's golf. It's a little bit more personable. But I do think that, with JT and a lot of other players making it a point to reiterate that, to say, hey, that's engage that way, that's use our platforms, that's use kind of our personalities to help us develop that next wave of fans. I can't applaud the players enough for doing that, and I encourage them to do more.
Yeah, you just brought it up. I mean, moving from, players were able to show off their personalities with the styles and all that stuff. But yeah, I think for players to just be outgoing more and people see, because obviously when these guys are on the course, they're in the zone or whatever, and somebody would try to reach out oh, that guy's such a jerk or whatever, but he's just in the zone. Yeah. So I think,
except when they're at the Phoenix, it's hard to be in the zone.
Yeah, it's tough to be in the zone when you got beers flying all over the place.
This has been known in the past as one of the best fan friendly events, and it's evolving in that way. But is is there a medium there? The Phoenix is that's something else completely different. Yeah. I don't think we're going to be throwing beer here.
No, I sure the hell hope not, right? So, or I'll have some other questions to answer from way up top. But no, I think the fan engagement, fan experience are things that I'm really passionate about. I think we live in a marketplace that we know how to throw a party and have a good time, but let's do it in a sophisticated way, right? What happens in Scottsdale and at WM, I mean, is lightning in a bottle, right? But I don't think you can replicate that everywhere else. Not every market is kind of geared or needs to mimic that. I certainly think that we have our own kind of vibe. Certainly we have one of the most iconic experiences in the Bear Trap, certainly through the 3 holes, but culminating in 17. So we just want to continue to do that, but that's elevated, right? That's be really sophisticated. Doesn't mean that you can't have fun. Sophistication doesn't mean fun and that you're not going to be having alcoholic beverages or adult beverages. But let's
especially
do it.
Max.
No way he's not
I could see the eyes going. So I'll be partaking with him at some point throughout the week. But
good enough.
It's look. We want people to come here and have a good time. We're geared for that. We have a beautiful course. We've beautified it even more. We've elevated certain fan experiences to be all-inclusive or inclusive of beverage. So let's take advantage of it, but let's do it in a respectful way. Let's do it in a way that helps encourage the players to come back.
All right, my last question is, everybody knows how tough the Bear Trap is. Over, under, let's say, plus 17 for the week for the Bear Trap.
Plus 17. Wow, that's a great question. I'm trying to think of
the Hard Rock betting app question.
It is.
You already checked the numbers on that?
I just came up with that because listen, you and I have covered this tournament for years. We understand how difficult that 3-hole stretch is, and there's been years where last time I was here, like it was like plus 24 or something like that. Like it's tough. So like, not only for that, but like for the fans that don't really know.
Yeah. Explain it.
How tough is the bear trap?
It's extremely tough dependent upon the wind, right? If we're like today, like it may play easier for the pros, but when your eye sits there on the box, you're elevated, you're hitting to kind of a green that's a few paces down. You now have the structures behind you. You're trying to gauge the wind, and you're trying to hit a 180-yard shot for those guys, which again for them is going to be anywhere between probably a 9-iron to a 7-iron, right? Type scenario, depending upon what type of shot. It's intimidating when you see the water. The one thing, though, that I think for 17 is you do have the bailout to the left. There's a little bit more space on the left. You don't want to be in that bunker, but you can bail to the left as you can be. So I'm not sure I'm supposed to be betting, but I'll take the under. I'll take the under on plus 17.
Like Tom D'Angelo, who you know very well from the Palm Beach Pros, he's I don't know if it's as strong as a prediction, but he's looking for Shane Lowry to hit a hole-in-one.
I feel like that guy's like hit a hole-in-one like everywhere.
I feel like
it's
so
like
he's on a roll.
Every other week it's on like SportsCenter, like, oh, Shane Lowry hole-in-one. It's like, well.
Yeah.
He's on a run, that's for sure. But if you remember last year, we had 2 hole-in-ones, but they were on hole number 7, which is not an easy par 3 by any means. So I think we'll get a couple this year. I hope it happens on either 15 or 17. I hope it happens anywhere. But on those 2 holes, as you're entering the bear trap and culminating in the bear trap, again, where most of our fans are going to be on 17, the noise that will come and reverberate throughout these grounds if we do that, I hope somebody does it. Shane, if you do it again, my gosh, I'm going to come and talk to you about get the luck of the Irish. I'll text him and get the luck of the Irish.
You'll make an exception to the beer flying from the stands rule if that happens.
Well, I may take him for a beer. Let's not throw the beers out on the group, but I'll take him for a beer. Let's make that clear. For sure.
Yes. And before you go, before you came here, I know you were accommodating Jack and Barbara. All we have to do is call them Jack and Barbara.
Yeah.
To have them associated with this tournament, living so close by, that's got to be just one of the most special things about this whole experience and your new gig.
Yeah, well, it's even above and beyond that. I'm from Columbus, Ohio, so I was born and raised, and I spent one off season as a caddy at Scioto Country Club where he learned to play golf. So, to now have that connection as somebody that grows up in Ohio, and again, the golf world has always loved Jack, but to somebody from Ohio, that's your idol, right? And so now to be able to be kind of in a relationship and get to know the family a little bit, and then ultimately for them to be the major beneficiary of the charitable contributions that we make each and every year, it's just an honor for me. So I can't wait for them to get out here later in the week and obviously see the things that we've done. I've shared with them. We created a program that I honored Jack with. I called it the Yellow Flamingo Club. The yellow is to honor Jack and the Play Yellow initiative and obviously what he wore on Sundays. But it's just a great honor to be involved with that family at any level. But equally, or more importantly for me as somebody from Columbus, Ohio, it's going to be something that I think about the rest of my life.
So awesome. Well, thank you for this beautiful perch on the first fairway here. We can't wait for the tournament. If you're listening to this, we did tape this on Wednesday, but the tournament again Thursday through Sunday. Hopefully not Monday. I think the weather's
no Monday, please.
The weather's looking pretty good.
Yeah, we're going to be in good shape.
You don't really think Sam got eaten by an alligator?
I don't know.
He's not here yet,
I don't know. My phone is in between my legs, and people need to know. It's been vibrating, so I don't know. I think I may need to go check
maybe
on it.
Maybe Spieth again. I don't know.
Well, maybe. So
well, we are going to throw now. I'm not even going to surprise you guys. We got to speak with an actual PGA Tour player here who's going to be playing in this tournament. So here is my interview from earlier. Oh, we are here with one of our favorites always, Daniel Berger, former Dwyer High School star. I bet you don't get that as part of your resume often, right?
No, that doesn't happen often, but excited to be here and excited to play in a home event.
Yeah, I remember last year at this time you were sort of fresh back after all the back problems that you had been through. You mentioned in your press conference you kind of felt like a rookie last year, and I can imagine for someone as competitive as you, that you didn't show it, but that had to have been a little bit frustrating, right?
Yeah, no, it was tough. I think you have to give yourself some leeway when you're coming back from injury. And I think I handled it well. Obviously I didn't play the way I wanted to in the beginning of the year and just kind of stuck to my process. And by the end of the year, I was playing more like myself. And, the last couple weeks I felt like, my old self. So feeling good.
That's good to hear. And, is part of it like trusting your body again? Because I know, especially with a back injury, you don't know at any point, like it's such a touchy situation. So like just putting that full trust in your body, is that a big part of it?
No, absolutely. I think you have to be confident that you can swing the way you want to swing, and you can swing hard when you want to swing hard. And that's been the biggest difference for me, is being able to do that.
So you're showing at the Phoenix. What was it about your game that you really liked there? You mentioned the speed of your drives as something that's really gone up. What are some of the things that you're really happy about that are making you feel like your old self again?
Yeah, well, I'm putting it way better than I have. I think, the old saying is drive for show, putt for dough. And I think, seeing the ball go in the hole a few more times around, is the biggest difference maker for me right now. And just continuing to do what I'm doing, hit fairways, hit greens, and on a tough course like this, just make the putts when you have to.
When you go through the Rolodex of this golf course, from when you were a kid coming here, maybe with your dad, to playing in the juniors and your experiences, so many, you're so memorable, that right back to the Patrick Harrington Monday playoff. What are some of the big things that really stand out to you?
Well, that Monday playoff with Padraig is definitely the one that's highest up there. I was a rookie that year, and he made an incredible putt on the last hole to get it to a playoff, and then we came back on Monday and finished it off. But it was one of those things where it's like dreams, when you're a kid thinking about stuff like that, to have a chance to win. And I've been able to be lucky enough to win since then. So it would be great to come out here and put on a good show this week and play well.
Would you almost say that besides the majors, this is sort of one of those sweet spot tournaments that you have like kind of on your bucket list, like maybe your personal like mini major?
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of my favorite events of the year. And it's, we got a great field this year, and it's going to be a great tournament. And hopefully we get big crowds on the weekend, and we have a great event.
I can't wait to interview you after perhaps a victory or at least a good showing. Thank you so much, man.
You got it.
Back to you guys.
Good.
Danny, you're the best.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Say hi to your dad for me. Daniel Berger is the best. And look at this. We found Sam Sullivan. You were not eaten by an alligator.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of concern there. Where the heck were you, man?
Yeah, I was out on the driving range, not hitting any balls myself, but I was.
You didn't just grab a club from one of the
No,
players'
I'm
bag
a
and
lefty.
start-
I'm a lefty, so it would have been
You're
a
a
tough
lefty?
find. I am.
Oh, okay.
I am. So it would have been a
Alright.
tough find, but
No Phil Mickelson this year.
I was scoping out.
Got our own lefty on the
Yeah,
podcast.
great. Yeah, that's what I mean. Left. I was looking at Jordan Spieth. I was trying
good choice.
to find out who his dietitian was. He
Yeah.
seems to be in pretty good shape. So I
Pretty
was.
jacked. I feel like he's pretty jacked.
He's
Yeah.
like thinner. He looks like he's in better shape. Yeah, like he looks like he's but noticeably thinner in the face.
Jordan Spieth's gonna listen to this and think you're gonna call him fat, dude.
No,
No,
no, not at all. This guy has been. Well, I'll tell you one thing about Jordan Spieth. Well,
He's
we all know.
currently at your Ring doorbell.
Yes.
No. He could be, but no, he's out on the course. I think at this point in time on Wednesday, as we tape this, he's playing his practice round.
You're looking at your
Looking at
hand.
a
There's
non-existent
clock.
watch. It's a freckle past the hair right now. That's what I know. Jordan Spieth, of course, had surgery with the wrist problems he was having.
Yes.
He was out there, so he's here for a reason. He was a last-minute commitment. He has not qualified to play in the Arnold Palmer Invitational, which is very lucrative, as you may know. It's one of those big PGA money events that they have now. It's worth like $20 million or something like that, the total purse.
Pocket change for a guy like you, though, right?
For me, yeah, I put up the money. I'm the one who
Oh,
puts
okay.
up the
Oh, good
money
to know, all right.
for the tournament.
Arnold Palmer Evans.
Dang, dude, can I get those sweet tickets? I mean, damn.
So he's still getting his game back in order, but he was out on Tuesday. He was on the drive. He was on the range. We had Ed, our camera guy, waiting to get him playing his practice round. He was out on the driving range for 2 hours, nonstop, hitting balls, talking to his coach, and then again today. And now he's playing his practice round. He is gunning for the win. He wants this bad. Don't be surprised if he's right there on Sunday, man.
Well, it's kind of crazy, like, after all these years, like, covering this tournament, like, this is his debut into it, right? Mm-hmm. It's his first time out here,
He played here as a junior.
Right.
And he said for a teenager, this was, no pun intended, bear of a course.
Ironic.
Yeah, the Bear
Ironic.
Trap we all know famously, but he's never played in this tournament. He was always the guy missing, even when the big names were here. So this is going to be really cool. He really is suddenly just the marquee guy out here. Hopefully he has a good Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. It's interesting that a guy of this stature is making his debut here, which I think kind of segues into a question I have for both of you, which is, how important of a role do you think this tournament is in the PGA Tour as a whole? How important is this stop for these golfers to be able to perform well in as they push into, the bulk of the tour?
Well, that's the thing that's been the problem over the past few years, right? The scheduling did not do this tournament any favors
justice
whatsoever. Between
And even
the
now, it
Mexico
still
and-
doesn't.
Yeah. Still, it's a work in progress, but this is the deepest field we've seen in quite some time. And as you saw, the evolving, golf world right now has the PGA Tour, it has LIV, it has TGL. A lot of these guys, I think there's 4 or 5 guys this week who are playing in TGL, like Billy Horschel played till 1 a.m. the other night, and he was out here doing his practice round. So there's so many different factors that go into it now, more than ever. But I know this is a PGA Tour run event now. They're going to continue to evolve every year, and they have pulled off their deepest field in years. And it just goes to show you, a guy like Jordan Spieth with the point system, he needs to play this. He needs to play this if he wants a chance at one of those big money, lucrative PGA Tour events that were brought into play. I believe it was last year. So with things like that in play, there's going to be other big names who are hungry for the money and who need to play this event moving forward. So hopefully it's a perfect combination of those type of guys, like the Jordan Spieth scenario, and guys who just. But this is a tough course.
Yeah. Well,
It's
that's
a tough. A lot of Go ahead with
well,
that, because
that's
that's the
my
point,
next
right?
point is, obviously the Arnold's next week, and if you're still trying to fine tune some parts of your game, why not just come out here and wing it? I mean, like you said, I believe like last year, this got voted the 20th most difficult course on the tour.
Mm-hmm.
And, especially if every guy wants to get some rest in between. That's why like the majority of the big name guys kind of stay at home. They're trying to get that one extra week of rest before they hit the Arnold Palmer. But, for guys like Jordan and them, again, they're not playing the Arnold, but, hey, this is a great course to fine-tune your game. Obviously, we all know the historic Bear Trap and how difficult that is. So, I think this course plays a vital role in especially some golfers' games.
Now, a little bit later on, Sam.
Plus 1.9, I think the winner gets. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. And Tom D'Angelo, who we're going to hear from later, the great Palm Beach Post golf writer, in our segment, really does call out some of the bigger names like Justin Thomas and not as much Tiger Woods because of the injuries that he's going through, but some of the bigger names who live around here that choose not to play in this tournament.
Well, which is crazy because, again, you look at those guys, they live here, the Rory McIlroys of the world, Justin Thomases.
And Rory did play last year.
Ricky's here, he's playing out here.
Ricky's always here,
especially for, granted, I don't know their personal lives or whatever, but I would assume during the off season they're probably out here playing some golf too. So I'm surprised that they wouldn't just you know what, this is the hometown tournament, let's go for it.
Tom is more than surprised. He is he's a little peeved. So you'll hear a little bit more about that from him later on in my one-on-one with Tom D'Angelo. But let's break down some of the big names here. I see you came equipped with notes, Sam. You've always got lots of
Sam,
stats.
dude.
I did.
Factoids.
Did you pass high school well because you always did homework?
Yes.
Did you know that this is Sam's first podcast?
This is also Sam Sullivan's debut at the Cognizant Classic.
This is my debut.
This is our
here.
first field trip, of course, right here on the first fairway. But it's
Field
also
trip, nice.
it's also your first podcast without a beard.
Yeah, I actually
Cruise
lost.
life does that for you.
Yeah. I lost that. I lost one half on the ship, and then I lost the other half
Did you lose a bet?
In the pond with the alligators? They ripped off the other
so you walked
half,
around with half a beard for a while?
Yeah, I
before
did.
the
Do you remember the baseball player? I can't forget his name, where he had just the mustache.
Miles Michaelis?
Yep. And he had just half the
Jupiter
the beard.
guy there?
Yeah, exactly.
Good local reference right
yeah,
there.
so that's who I was.
Too bad he's not in the Pro-Am.
That's right.
You could have asked him about
We'll ask
that.
MLB if he can skip spring training.
Yeah,
one year.
right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking right at the top of your list there, and I'm loving what I'm seeing, man.
Shane Lowry.
Shane Lowry, he is a fan draw, and will he continue on his hole-in-one tear? What do you think about Shane Lowry, Sam Sullivan?
Yeah, I think he's he's a few years removed from being the runner-up here at the Classic back in 22. I think he's looking to build his momentum here. He just came in second in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am earlier this month. I think he's excited. Like a lot of these guys, it's a mix really, because as we mentioned, it's a deep cast of people in this event, but as we mentioned, there's still some big local guys who are not participating. So for a guy like Shane Lowry, it's his opportunity to, really take it over the top and kind of give this tournament the credit it deserves, I feel. I've got these names, and there's big ones. So I think he's somebody who's, like many others, trying to, help this tournament, put it over the top, if you will.
You think there's a hole-in-one this week? Do you think there's a hole-in-one this week?
I just have a good feeling. I mean, again, Tom D'Angelo later on, he's really into this concept. I think there'll be a hole-in-one for sure. And I think you got to have the best odds on that has to be Lowry.
Shane Lowry, absolutely.
Yeah. If there was a section on the Hard Rock app that had you say yay or nay on a hole-in-one from Shane Lowry, I might do that for $1. See what happens.
You're going with the big buck for the
Just
plus
one.
3,000 odds?
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
why
not? That'd be fun.
John is a very responsible gambler, everybody.
Yeah, just $21 bets is what he does.
What about, if you think about it on Sunday here, some of the guys who could be on the leaderboard, it could be like Shane Lowry, it could be Jordan Spieth, Billy Horschel, Ricky Fowler.
Horschel, you just said that. Why am I repeating
It's like an echo in here.
Emphasizing
It's like an echo.
He's my dark horse, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
But it's never that, is it, at the Cognizant Classic? It's always like, who the heck is that on Friday? And then by Sunday, it's the only guy we've been covering, and he's still up there. And we end up all these first time, Chris Kirk, he hadn't won in years, I think 8 years, and he won here. And then Sepp Straka, we got to see him win his first
that was great.
PGA Tour event. Austrian, he looks like a pure-blooded American the way he talks and everything, but he's got an accent, but he's an Austrian citizen. So it was the first. I'm thinking that was the fact that it was the first Austrian to ever win on the PGA Tour. And then last year, of course, Austin Eckroat, who is such a nice guy. He's just mingling with the crowd here. I've seen him a couple times, and he said hi. And he's still walking around like he's one of the patrons. And oh no, that's the defending champion.
Yeah,
right
his
there.
pictures
No
up
big deal.
everywhere.
He looks calm.
big
He
deal.
looks calm and ready to go. So I think we're set up for a really cool tournament here. What about Gary Woodland?
Let's see.
We haven't even mentioned him
Let me
yet.
reshuffle my.
He's got to
papers.
shuffle the notes.
You weren't expecting this wind
I
down
got-
here.
I got-
Right?
I got-
It is a little windy.
got a bat
That
on the
plays to
wind.
the tournament, right?
I think obviously the big storyline with Gary is his brain surgery in September of 2023.
Man,
Yeah, I mean, what a story.
I talked to him about that last year. He had just come back, more than happy to share the details about it. On Wednesday, really emotional, he was presented by the PGA Tour Commissioner the PGA Tour Courage Award prior to his press conference. For those who don't know, he was on tour a couple of years ago, less than 2 years ago, and he suddenly was scared for his life. He was literally lying in bed, felt like he was falling, would have this fear that he was dying, and there was no escape from it. Like the ultimate anxiety attack that was just never ending. And he went to think about that. I mean, it's so scary. And he called his wife in the middle of the night, like, I think I'm dying. I need to get out of here and everything. And they found out he had a brain lesion that was pressing against the part of his brain that causes fear and anxiety.
Wow.
And he had to all of a sudden have brain surgery to have that removed. So I spoke with him last year before this tournament. He was just getting back on his feet again, trying to get back as to being a golfer. But through the past year, like last year, he would still have, he said, PTSD, because he went back to some of the sites that he had experienced this like nightmare at, and it all started coming back to him like PTSD, and he was having panic attacks, and he thought he was dying again and everything. So he's working through those. His brain is okay. The doctors have assured him that this is just goes with the after effects, everything
Right.
he's going through. But he has, he's been through the rigor. Been through the rigors. Is that the right way to say it?
I think it's rigor, yeah.
He's been through the rigors.
The
ringer.
The ringer.
He's been through
Is
the
it
ringer.
ringer?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, let's go with one of those. You know where I'm.
choose one of the
You know where
I
I'm
know. I
getting
had
at.
St. Lucie County education, so who knows?
He's a Delray Beach resident, originally from Kansas. He loves our camera guy Eddie, wears the Kansas Jayhawks hat, and he always comes
Yes.
over and
Shout
he gets
out
to do an
Ed.
interview.
Yes.
But
Shout out Ed.
he was in absolute tears on Wednesday morning. Gary Woodland was, and he just said, "This award belongs to my wife and my kids and everyone who has supported me through this," because he said, "I think of the people who are going through this who don't have that support system, how scary it would be," and he's so proud to be an inspiration for these people, that there is a way out of it if you're going through it. And man, if he won this golf tournament, if he won the Cognizant Classic, that would be something special for sure.
For sure.
Gary Woodland.
Yeah, I think there's people who are playing against him that are still in the back of their mind are rooting for a guy like that. You're always going to root for somebody like that who went through what he went through to find success and be able to witness it firsthand. So, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people cheering for him.
Yeah, and this is, we kind of talked about it, is like this tournament is kind of made for moments like that. First time winners on the tour. Even the big name guys like Ricky Fowlers and Justin Thomas have won this tournament. So, I mean, who says that Gary can't complete the full circle and win it out here this weekend?
I could picture it. It would be definitely one that we would remember forever. And I'm looking at your list. I'm kind of cheating here, but I see that you've got Billy Horschel on there. And that guy, talk about a proud Floridian. He has always supported this tournament. Former Florida Gator. And he's another guy who I could totally picture. He's had a week. He was up till 1 a.m. on...
I can't believe
like
that.
at TGL on Monday.
Yeah, right down the street.
Yeah, and
Hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah.
he was here like probably by 11 the next day, and he said, I grabbed the wrong hat though. He grabbed the wrong sponsor for his hat, so he wasn't able to do any interviews that day. And
dang.
he was
man.
being saying, I swear, man.
Imagine just like having that luxury of like, oh shoot, I grabbed the wrong hat because of the sponsors.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to interview him, but we had to talk off camera, and he's raring to go.
He's done well in this tournament. In 2024, that was last year, finished 9th.
Yep.
And then in 2022, he finished 16th. So he's also made a couple furious back nine drives in the previous year. So he's kind of my dark horse to win it this year. I really like Billy Horschel.
Yeah.
Always, yeah. I
You
mean,
want to hear
I could
some of
always
his
picture him being in the hunt.
some of his superstitions?
Yes.
We're gonna put that up a little bit, Evanson. There you go.
How's this? Is this better?
So two of his superstitions is that he carries around a quarter from 1936 and 4 T's in his front right pocket. Every time he plays.
That's about 9 more. That's
Why the coin?
The significance, I don't know.
I can ask him
I
now.
could not find an answer to that.
Billy out
but-
here. Let's go ask him.
Yeah,
Billy!
right.
He's not there.
I don't
There's
know.
no one there. That
But,
could be him over there. I have bad eyes.
It's always something with coins because the guy who we were just talking about, Gary Woodland, when he marks his ball, he uses a 1984 $50 coin that his mom gave him.
We need to do some
1984,
investigating for
though,
this.
for him is the year that Gary Woodland was born. So that we understand the year.
Which brings a
Billy
single tear to
Horschel,
my eye.
Billy Horschel, I don't believe was born in 1936. I think we could safely
Are you
say
sure?
That would be
Maybe
impressive.
he's a time traveler.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
He does have a funny little old-timey accent. Like
He does. Yeah, I agree with that.
When I talk to him, he's like, I plan on winning this tournament this week. That's how he talks.
So he's probably at your doorbell right now. Ring doorbell. I would check that. But yeah, active guy. I cannot believe that you're up that late TGL and then the quick turnaround. It's just kind of I don't know.
If they offered you the money, you'd do it too. So.
Yeah. I mean, trust me, I would do it. It would have been nice to see Rory tag along with them, though. I think that would have been cool.
Yeah, well, that's a good segue into our next guest because he talks a little bit about that too in our interview. He's covered golf in our area for years. He's front row center at every press conference I've ever been at here and at the Masters. He's the golf guru. I just made that up. Here he is.
Good alliteration.
From the Palm Beach Post, Tom D'Angelo. Welcome to PGA National. It's already Cognizant Classic week. I'm here with Tom D'Angelo, longtime golf writer and columnist for the Palm Beach Post. And everyone's always, over the past few years anyway, concentrating on who's not here. But I think this is finally a time where we can really get excited about who is here this week.
Yeah, John, the last couple of years, as we know, a decade ago, that wasn't a question. Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, Phil Mickelson. One year they had 7 of the top 10 in the world here. They had some great battles out there. It started diminishing over the years. A lot of the issues were caused by the PGA Tour themselves, squeezing this tournament in a very unfavorable spot in the schedule. They had a bunch of tournaments beforehand in California or out on the West Coast. Right after it, Arnold Palmer, the players, when it moved back, it was hard to play all those tournaments. The natural spot for them to take off was here. Mm-hmm. Well, they made a couple of adjustments in the schedule. PGA Tour is taking over the operations of this event. In the last 2 years, it's been pretty good. This year, I believe it's as deep as a field. Look, they may be lacking that top 10 or 15 golfer, which for the last 5 years, they haven't had a top 10 golfer in this event. But there are names here that are very popular golfers that people will want to come out and see play.
Jordan Spieth jumps right out at you.
You got Jordan Spieth was a huge addition late Friday, right at the end, at the deadline when they had to get that roster in, the list of players who are in this event. His name pops up. Yeah. But you have, if you even go outside of the top 50, there's 16 of the top 50 in the world. That does not include Daniel Berger, Jordan Spieth, Gary Woodland, or Ricky Fowler. Those arguably are the top 4. You throw in Billy Horschel and maybe Shane Lowry. Those are the needle movers in this field. 4 of them aren't in the top 60. So really, it's a very subjective way of looking at it. We've got to look at the numbers and we've got to call out the guys who aren't here, the really good guys who aren't here. But let's also look at, this is a deep field and there should be some really, really good golf being played out here.
I know that you have an article that you're working on in there right now for Tuesday's Palm Beach Post, talking about what you just alluded to. Like, you're kind of surprised that some of the guys who live around here, for years now haven't come and played in this thing.
Right. And like I said, it's a numbers game. Ricky Fowler has always played here. Shane Lowry's played here a lot recently. They just don't happen to be in the top 15 in the world right now. But there are 6 players in the top 15 in the world, and I give Rory McIlroy a little break. He did play last year, but beyond him, Victor Hovland and Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay, among those who aren't here. Those guys hardly have ever played here. Those last 3 I mentioned. I just think it's a bad look, and you go beyond that. This year, there's that added factor. 5 miles down the road is TGL. There are another 3 top 15 players in the world playing tonight or tomorrow night, 5 miles down the road, who are leaving town and they couldn't stay. I just think that for those guys who live here, take advantage of the amenities. You take advantage of our weather. You take advantage of the golf courses. Palm Beach County is one of the reasons you are where you are. You moved here for a reason. You moved here to get better in your craft, with your trade. You could, for one weekend, give back to the community. One weekend. And you're sleeping in your own bed if you do it. They have all kinds of reasons. I get it. No one's going to force anybody to play. The PGA Tour runs this event. They still can't force them to play. But you would think, and like I said, I give the Rory credit. Justin Thomas is the biggest name that I mentioned that I left out. He won this event. 18, I think 19 was the last year he played here. We haven't seen him since. But 3 weeks from now, at least, I don't know about this year because it's not out yet. The last 4 years, he played Valspar over at Innisbrook over in the West Coast by Tampa. Took off playing in his hometown event, played 3 weeks in a row, it ended the Florida Swing in Valspar, but he couldn't start it here. It's just people like that, when you see those names not here, people just question, why aren't they here?
Yeah, and it's especially confusing to the casual fan. But speaking of the casual fan, are there one or two golfers that you're excited to see this week that you just have a good feeling about that fans are going to want to maybe look out for, keep an eye on that leaderboard for?
I love one of the names. There are two names of guys who play here all the time, have done well here, never won, Shane Lowry and Billy Horschel. I'll tell you, there's a great Lowry. We saw him in Phoenix a couple of weeks ago. Ace, that number 16. Shane Lowry has 3 holes in one on the PGA Tour. One at Augusta, one at TPC, and one at Phoenix. 3 of the most iconic par 3 holes on tour.
So you're looking at 17 here.
How would that be if you got a 17? Where would that be? And I want to ask him, if you could do that, where would that be, in the whole picture of this? Is this the next one? Is there another one, or is this the one? Wouldn't that be great? Especially this year, especially a couple of weeks ago, having that hole-in-one in Phoenix. I'm sorry, it's Pebble Beach. Yeah. He had the hole-in-one in Pebble Beach. It was not Phoenix. So it's Pebble Beach, it's Augusta, and it's the Players. Yeah. So the Pebble Beach is probably as iconic as any. That's that 7th hole. So I think, and he's had success here. He's played well here 2 years ago in the rain. I think he was tied for the lead on 18. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The one where Chris Kirk won, it was the overtime. It was the extra. The rain came and he was on 17, and he and Daniel Berger. Yeah. I think it was 3 years ago. He and Daniel Berger were in the running, and he just got the worst luck. And the other, if you want a name that's not really at the top, Denny McCarthy's played here a lot. He's a great putter. I just have a good feeling. He had a good showing at Genesis. He played well at Genesis. Just had a good feeling about Denny, and he's been playing well lately, and he knows the course.
Now, before we go, we have to talk a little bit about, because another one of your articles and a lot of your coverage has just been about the different fan experience that is going to happen this year. You can see the scaled down grandstands, just different views, just scaled down is the way to put it. But I don't think the fans coming here will be scaled down number-wise, right? Especially with the big names, but just something completely different, just a different feel.
Yeah, I think what they did last year, and the executive director this year is his first year, Todd Fleming. Last year he was on site, so he was able to use the week of last year's Cognizant, the first ever Cognizant, as a kind of a scouting mission, and see what everything was like on the course and where fans gathered, and where maybe there was a lot of excess build-out where fans didn't gather. Yep. So he took all that. They used drones. They did a lot of work on just trying to, how can we make this a better fan experience? And he came up with this, and to me, it's a business decision. If you have all this build out and all these excess stands with no one sitting in them, why are you spending money to build it and tear it down? So basically, he made sure everything was sold that they built. It looks smaller because all of it is one deck now. A lot of the Bear Trap and 18th was a lot of double decks. Yep. But like I said, a lot of them were empty. So his idea was, if you have less build out, what does that mean? It means you have more green space. You allow fans to get closer to the ropes. Yep. You allow fans to stand. 18 here, there's great topography coming down the fairway where there's some hills where fans can stand up in hills and see it.
It feels like the Open or something in England.
Here, in this state, where do you see hills? A 5-foot hill is a mountain here. Yeah. So you're able to open up that part of the golf course in different holes. Yeah. Where fans can now get closer to the ropes. They can get closer to the greens. They can get closer to the players, and they're out there standing. And it's funny because how many fans? It would be interesting if you could talk to every fan. What do you prefer? Do you prefer sitting in one hole and watching everybody come through, and then so you're waiting for the real good golfers to, or do you like following people around? And I think most of them would, if they're able to, would love getting out in the course and walking around the course and following, and you can go from golfer to golfer. You don't have to sit one place and I got to wait three more holes, 3 more foursomes before my guy comes. So I think this year fans will enjoy it now. And they said they're open. If all of a sudden something happens here and there's a run on fans, Tiger Woods showed up, there's probably not enough stands out there. Yeah. So if something happens where they need to build, they're going to go year to year. They're very fluid, and they'll just add if they need to add.
Well, it's good to see our local tournament is evolving, and I'm very curious to see what happens this year. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, John.
You're the best. We'll cover him. Palm Beach Post. We'll have all the coverage daily on CBS 12 News at 6 and 11.
Well, talk about people that he's looking forward to. One thing we're all looking forward to, Canada-USA, Four Nations final. I was very hyped up for it.
Well, now we're looking forward to the Olympic version of that next
version
year.
of this tournament.
Oh boy.
I
told you it would go to.
I think you did say it was going to go to overtime.
Yeah.
So kudos to you.
I thought it would be Sid the Kid scoring the winner. For if it was Canada, I said it was going to be one of the Kachuk brothers. If it was USA, Canada winning it, of course, with Connor McDavid snipe. And
how do you leave that man just in the middle
the assist
of the
from
slot?
Sid? I know.
It
was,
Austin Matthews, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, God.
Come on, man. If you're not going to score any effing goals, at least cover the guy in the slot in overtime.
Plays for the Leafs. What do you want from him?
Yeah, crumbling in the top moments.
Oh, man.
I will say, that game definitely turned out as well as we thought it was going to be.
The whole tournament did.
The whole tournament did.
Yeah.
So shout out to the NHL for getting that together.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of classic Canada-USA, you think of a game that goes down to overtime, close-knit battle back and forth.
You know what's great, though? You say classic USA-Canada and maybe more I think, would you consider yourself a casual hockey fan? Or you're a Rangers guy, right?
I'm a Rangers guy, yeah. But yeah, you could say.
But what I want to say out of this is you say classic USA-Canada. That's the thing, though, is for the important viewer, like the younger generation, they had no example of classic USA Canada. There had been nothing to really. There had been no
you had the
memories.
2010 Olympics, the golden goal.
Yeah, but again, 10 years is a lot. What is that? More than that. 14 years.
15
Yeah,
years.
15 years.
So the kids who were 20, 19, 20, 22, whatever. They don't have that memory of a classic USA Canada. Now they do.
Now
they do. There was the unfortunate booing of the anthems on both sides. They tried to do it in Boston as well. That was more for political reasons and everything. But that there's no question. I mean, if it was Sweden and Finland, they would be. There would be that jousting on both sides of it. This really fired up, I think, fans and juiced them up to really see hockey in a different way, I think, to look forward to the Olympics, because this is going to be going on, this international stuff moving forward with the best of the best. And even at the Leaf game in Boston on Tuesday night, the fans were chanting USA, USA, USA with Leafs Bruins. So I think everyone's kind of fired up about hockey. It got some more fans into the mix for sure. And just too bad that Matthew Tkachuk, we don't know when he's going to be back with the Panthers quite yet. If he had played, he missed the last half of that game.
I believe it was half of the second period and then all the third.
USA might have had a different result.
Yeah, and like we talked about it last week, I thought one of the key factors was going to be the USA forecheck.
Yeah.
A healthy Matthew and Brady Tkachuk going at it.
A lot missing there.
Right, and when you lose a forward, it's tough to roll, your four lines that you want to when you're a forward down, and obviously, there was no Charlie McAvoy out there for that game. So, one of the things that I did question was Jordan Binnington, his goalie prowess, as we shall say. He did win Game 7 with the Blues in that building, but obviously. Shout out to Team Canada for getting it done. And again, I say one more time, Austin Matthews, what the hell?
Listen, that was a tough play. You're dealing with Connor McDavid there too, Austin Matthews.
Isn't that the whole reason you're dealing with Connor McDavid?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Anyways, it was a great tournament.
It was kind of symbolic though, because Sid the Kid, Sidney Crosby, always the guy who's thought of being
Captain Canada.
Team Canada, and then it was kind of like almost the passing, literally the passing of the torch. Like it was a Sidney Crosby setup, and it was a Connor McDavid is now
the guy. Well,
the guy.
That was going to be a question that I wanted to propose to you. I feel like, granted, he did get to Game 7 at the Stanley Cup Final last year. But I feel
what team beat him again? I forget.
The Vamos Gatos?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Florida Panthers beat. I remember I was watching some of our coverage of it right after it happened. You were producing the show, and it was just mass chaos all around me. And I just saw this I can't believe I did this because I saw it when I saw the replay. I grabbed this like Oilers guy and I was like, and here right here is the loser.
Yeah.
And the guy just gave this face like this,
not
just
believe
like it felt so good.
Shamed him on live television.
It felt
Which
so
is great because John's Canadian as well, so he's like making fun of Canada
Yeah,
over
right.
there,
The Oilers,
semi.
yeah.
But I will say one of the questions that I thought like it's good for McDavid because I felt like the pressure was kind of really beginning to get on him because obviously everybody expects a lot from him. If he's not going to win, if he's not bringing Stanley Cup homes, the pressure builds more and more when he's going to get done.
Yeah.
And I feel like the championship game of the Four Nations was kind of that moment for him to have his big time moment for Team Canada.
get it out of the way.
Right.
Get that big moment out of the way, and then he can start being that. The next. I hate to say the next one because wasn't that was what Mario Lemieux was.
That was Mario, that was
Yeah.
Gretzky, that was Sid.
But
that
quite
was,
literally,
Right.
in literal terms, to be the next one and solidify himself as
So-
the guy who's not going to buckle in big time situations
So-
unless the Florida Panthers are playing him.
Speaking
in
of the-
which case he'll continue to buckle.
Speaking of the Panthers, here's a good question because obviously we just talked about it. Matthew Tkachuk, we don't know when he's going to go. We don't know when he's going to come back. If you're the Panthers, do you play the long-term injured reserve game and put his salary on hold till the playoffs and try to make a big splash in
Let me just
about
put
the
it
trade
this way:
deadline?
you want to make sure they're already in great position. You want to make sure that Matthew Tkachuk is 100% healthy by the time the playoffs start. I don't care how they do it. Sure, that's an option. But there's no way you can have a. I mean, he will play at 70%. He will play at 40%.
I did that for USA games.
You don't want him playing at 40. Yeah, you got to get him back to that. You got to plug in that Matthew Tkachuk
Well, you
iPhone
even saw it a few
battery.
years ago. He played with the broken sternum.
Yes, I know.
So he don't matter. It don't matter to him. If the game is on the line, he will put him on a wheelchair. He'll wheel out there, play some hockey.
Yeah, let's do your idea then. Yeah, let's get him healthy and.
Don't worry, Matthew. We got you, buddy.
All right, picks.
For this?
For the Classic.
All right. Why don't you guys go first, and I'll ponder.
Who you got?
I kind of touched on it earlier, man. I just have a good feeling about Billy Horschel. I feel like he understands this course well. Like I said, he's had a few back nine, charges on moving day to set himself in good position on Sunday. I'm going to go with Billy Horschel here.
I'm going to go with a guy who we have not talked about, somebody who I picked to win it last year, Hideki Matsuyama.
Who?
Oh,
You picked him last year?
I did. That's last year or the year before. I thought that he was going to win it. The odds are, if you go on your betting app, the odds for that guy are looking probably pretty great. If you go underdog with
there
him.
goes Evanson's dollar bet.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know, just something about a big name guy who has not really been talked about in regards of this tournament. So that's my pick.
It would be so lame if I said Jordan Spieth. So although
He's gonna go Jordan Spieth.
I have seen all the work he's been putting in, but I'm going to go with a guy who this course it suits him perfectly. We've already mentioned him. My favorite Austrian golfer, Sepp Straka.
Okay.
Sepp Straka will win the 2025 Cognizant Classic, the second time winning this tournament.
Wow.
That's it. That's
That's it.
That's all we
That's
got.
That's all we got for
We're
you.
going to go run across the first fairway completely.
As people are driving off the tee
Completely
right
what?
now.
You know, I was going to say completely nude.
I
No.
definitely thought
I
you
mean,
did.
we can. I mean, you
You
might
try
get us
it.
barred for the
I
tournament.
want to cover the tournament. That's my thing, though. So
Although I
that's
think
my.
Todd likes us enough. I think you could get away with that.
Yeah, right.
Don't test him, man. All right, they're teeing off right now, and if this ball goes left, we're getting hit. Let's see.
Uh-oh,
Maybe it'll
it's
hit
an
you.
amateur. Oh, it is going left.
Oh.
The sign.
Okay, we're still
I
alive.
think we're okay.
Let's
All
sign
right.
off and take cover for the next one. Sam, you want to get us out of here?
Good luck to everybody competing this weekend. Hopefully the three of us are in it next year, right?
Thank you for not ending it with that.
I was
lame
gonna say the
up.
thumbs up.
Let's do it. Let's all do it. All three. Thumbs up.
1, 2, 3.
We'll see you next week.
Best Florida Sports Podcast. drops every Thursday morning. Listen on your favorite platform or watch on YouTube.